guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and today we're going to use some newish products to me that I've been playing with for a week or two, and we're going to do like a very easy spring summer makeup. This is kind of my everyday look that I've been doing. I actually have a new sunscreen, and oh my gosh, you guys, this is a dupe for the glow screen, and I did not like the glow screen, which is interesting, but this is amazing. It's super affordable, and if you have oily skin, this is phenomenal. This is the Trader Joe's Daily Facial Sunscreen, Broad Spectrum SPF 40, oil-free, invisible gel formula. It's basically a primer with SPF. It's stunning under makeup. I just can't believe it. I will tell you that I love, hey, no bark. I love this from Naturium. This is the Dew Glow Moisture SPF 50. Is this made for my oily skin? Heck no. This is not for us. This is not for us oily people. I live in Austin, and it has been 50 to 80% humidity the past couple weeks, and I will tell you, these lotions, as beautiful as they are not made for my summer face. They're really not made for my face at all. I'm about to be 43 in a couple days. I have oily skin. I have acne prone skin. I live in a humid climate. This one is amazing. It just doesn't stay well under makeup, so I'm definitely not using that. I am going to use the more mattifying Trader Joe's one today. It's been awesome, and a little goes a long way. I went ahead and moisturized early as well, because I don't feel like this is as moisturizing, and so it just depends on your skin. Oh my gosh, I'm just so pumped because things just go so beautifully on. Okay, so I do not wear any foundation, not even a skin tint on these everyday looks. I use a couple of different concealers. These are ones that I've used in the past, like the It Cosmetics Bye Under Eye. That is my under eye. And then I've been using the newer to me Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, but more to do any blemishes or like redness, veining, things like that. I don't like it as much under my eye anymore unless I just put a tiny bit. So I'm going to put a tiny bit, and then we'll mix that in with the It Cosmetics. So I don't have any major blemishes right now. I definitely have a little bit of discoloration. I've also been using a newer brush, and you'll see some of these things in my favorites video coming up. So I like to, that Bye Under Eye, I like to warm that up on my fingertips because it is a thicker, tackier concealer. All right, so I let that sit for just a moment under my eyes while I blend out the rest of the face. Just using my Love is the Foundation brush for the face area. It's just what's really interesting is this primer SPF situation from Trader Joe's is just a silicone. It's like silicone-y, and I never used to like that. I could never get anything to sit well on top of that, but right now it's working, and I think my skin has changed so much that, you know, I'm on this journey of finding new products that do well on my skin right now, and in this adjusted climate, because it is more humid than it used to be. And so I'm excited that I found something that works. So I'm still on my journey, but that's the first thing. So I use a smaller brush to push this into the skin and keep it in the spot where I want it. And then I go back with the Love is the Foundation brush and blend the edges out. I think I might need to turn my fan on. You can already feel the humidity. I'm wearing a little shorts onesie here, and I don't know if it looks good on me or not. I mean, I've never liked my legs, but it's leggy. I mean, it is shorts, right? Do I look a little crazy? I do look a little crazy. Let me turn the fan on and then we'll blend this out. All right, so now we're gonna go back and blend these edges because it is a more medium to full coverage. I mean, you can definitely make it full coverage, this concealer. So because I'm not wearing any foundation or not even a skin tint, like that SPF is not even tinted. So I do have to be careful that some of these concealers do not look where you can see the line of demarcation. You know what I mean? Like you want to blend that out. And so as the edges go, I tend to blend those more thinly. So it's kind of like a ombre effect with the thickness of the concealer. Okay. Do you guys ever feel like one side is always darker than the other? Like my under eye, I always feel like I need more under there, but I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, something I've been doing that I'm really liking, because it does add a little bit of coverage. I like the least amount of coverage on my skin. So like once you put on a 10th product, right, you got this thick layer. Maybe not, but that's what it feels like to me. So I've been using the Maybelline Age Rewind Eraser Concealer, which is one of my favorites of all time. And I've been using it in the darker skin tone color for my bronzer. And I'm just using it. It's such a thin formula that this looks insane, but once you blend it out, it is just so, so beautiful. And it is warmer than I would like it to be tone-wise, but that's because it's a concealer. So it's not gonna be, you know, a gray tone or anything. But because it's so light and blendable, because it's a concealer, I don't feel like I have to be really careful. And on an everyday, humid, gross day, when you're getting ready, you just don't want to be playing around with all that. I just don't want finicky stuff, you know? So I'm taking this as a big fluffy brush. I think this is, oh, it's a Marc Jacobs brush. The Face One. You know I didn't buy that. You know that was my aunt sent that to me. Thank you, Aunt Becky. So I'm just pressing and patting this in. I'm not sweeping it because it's a thin formula. I don't want to sweep it so much that it blends out. Okay, that's what we have. Now I'm going to powder under my eyes, and then we're gonna do some powder products on top and then a little mascara. So, been using a little powder puff for under the eye. I'm using the Coty Airspun powder. I just keep going back to this no matter what. You wanna make sure that you press any weird things under the eye out. Blend that out if any concealer has like settled in before you powder. And then this is again a pressing motion. This is not a swiping motion. Because since I am very oily, I really have to press and get things to stay in, and I do not like an oily look, I will tell you that. Or I mean a really powdery look or an oily look. But because I'm so oily, I do have to powder my face. I just do. All right. I just try not to do too much of it because this is a powder, the new NYX Buttermelt Bronzer, which I actually am loving. It's way more pigmented than you think though. So I don't know if I would try a different color next time, but this is all butted up. And I'm gonna use a big fluffy brush for this. But because I didn't put any powder here, it's okay because this is a powder gonna go over the cream and it'll set that without having to put the Coty Airspun on top of it as well. Again, I'm trying to go with the least amount of layers. So I'm trying to be strategic here. So I'm using this big, this looks like a really weird brush to use for bronzer. It's a big fluffy brush, Duo Fiber. And this bronzer has a little bit of shimmer, like not shimmer, more of a sheen. I'm gonna use this to top over the concealer that I just put on to kind of set that down and go a little bit over my nose. And because it's fluffier, it's not going to pick up as much because it's bigger. It's going to not be as pinpointed and intense. Still looks intense on camera, but all right, I am going to powder a little bit under this just to make sure I didn't go too far. It's more of a cleanup situation, and then I'll use this to buff it out before my last little blush is added. So I am baking a little bit here, but very strategically and very minimally. So what's happening is this is going to soak up any oil, help the makeup stay, and then it's gonna help buff in the color for the rest of it. While that's setting in, I'm gonna use my new Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water. This is a tubing mascara. I like it okay. I still like the Thrive better. I do need to try the e.l.f. But it is tubing and it does work for the most part. I was getting to the point where waterproof mascara was no longer staying, like super waterproof. This has definitely worked, I'd say 90% of the time, and only a couple times has it gotten underneath my eye. I don't think I'm gonna put it at the bottom lash line though. Well, maybe I'll do that and we'll test it out. I've been testing out the bottom lash line again just to see. I went through a phase where I didn't really like mascara on the bottom lash line. I just wanted a different look, and I'm kind of back to using it to try what it looks like, number one, but because I have a mascara that is going to stay through the humidity, number two. So the good thing about this is if it does flake or come off, it's not going to come off in a way that's going to ruin the makeup. You just pick off the little mascara piece and move on with your life, because it's not gooey. It's not a flake, because the way that the tubes come off, it's a little more forgiving if it does come off your lash. And I don't think it's the product. I think it's my lashes. I think that they're, with my skin being so oily and everything being so humid, I'm having to find a new routine. And so we're working it out. So I did just a light touch at the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna buff all of this in very quickly. My battery is running out. So I use this to blend everything in, the leftover powder, instead of sweeping it away. I use it to buff the color in. We are actually almost done. So I'm gonna let that mascara dry, and then I'm gonna clean any of that up. And then I'm going to take a putty blush, kind of a creamy putty blush. The one I've been using is the MAC Heat Index Glow Play Blush. And I'm going to pat this on the apples of my cheeks with a duo fiber brush. And then we're gonna do some lip, and then we're gonna be done. I don't do anything to my eyebrows. I probably should. They are dyed, but they could probably be filled in. If I was going to an event, it would be different, but this is like my every day. So we're gonna push and press this into the skin. Because it's a putty blush, it's able to go over powder. Not every cream liquid blush is able to go over a powder. The Patrick Ta blushes, I'm gonna order one of those soon. That's how he works his blush, and I think his formulas work well like that, but not every formula does. All right, a little bit over the nose. I'm still loving the nose. Okay, so we're gonna now buff that with a different, Love's the foundation brush, an older one. And what I do is I use this to just pat. So even though this is a very easy, quick makeup, there is a lot of concern that like lines of demarcation, everything is blended, right? You still have to take the time to do that, especially when you're mixing formulas like this. But this also helps to keep things on a little bit longer. All right, so let's clean up under the eye, if there is anything, very quickly. I'm gonna show you this new trick. So there's a YouTuber I watch. She is a shopping YouTuber. She does like window shopping stuff. She gave me something that I've seen before. It's been a very long time, and I was like, why don't I try this? So I've been back to using setting sprays, and the all-nighter is one of the best ones in my opinion. It actually helps keep your makeup on. And I'm gonna spray this on a sponge instead of on my face, and then I'm going to pat it over so that every piece is touched of the skin instead of using the spray and maybe not hitting every little spot. And this has been a life changer. This, I mean, total game changer, total game changer. You can roll it, just depends on what you have on underneath, because it could definitely pick up makeup. You have to, depends on the sponge you're using, the product underneath, but I find that if I just tap it, it works beautifully. All right, and then we're going to do a little lip tint. We will do tomato. It's supposed to be like a Benetint. I'm just doing a lip tint with probably a gloss on top. Again, something that feels light stays on, because that's the goal. We're trying to get everything to stay on as long as possible. So I'm gonna let that dry. Let's brush our hair. Well, this is probably gonna go right back into a scrunchie, but we'll brush it first. All right, now that the lip is dry, I'm gonna add, I bought another one of the Milani lip oils. I am in love with these. Honey Fig. It's kind of a neutral brown. Tone down that color just a little bit. Gives a little bit of shine. And then you guys, I bought the Yummy Skin Water Power Serum. This is insane. I'm telling you, primers do not work on me. This comes in a little dropper. This is Denona Myricks. It is amazing. I've been using it just at the very end. I'm not using it as a primer. You can use it under or on top of makeup. I've been using it in my T-zone to just top off the look. So it comes out in like a little water droplet, which is amazing. Like the actual, like her product development team, just amazing. All right, and that is the look. So no foundation, makeup that's gonna look good and stay all day. Let's zoom out. I mean, it's got color, it's got fun to it, but it looks like summer and it's not a lot of makeup. So it makes you look presentable, and I'll put a picture here of what it looks like in real lighting. But anyway, let me know down below if you've tried any of these newish products, especially the Natasha, not Natasha, no, the Denona Myrick stuff is just stunning. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Let me know what your routine is, if you've tried any of these products, if you love them, if you hate them. How do you feel about the butter bronzer? Again, it looks way less impactful in person. Definitely looks more extreme on camera. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.